So this is a bit of a different view from what I usually film. This is the first video where I am actually sitting in front of the camera talking to you guys face to face instead of you just seeing my hands. And because of the type of video that I'm filming today, I just kind of felt like sitting in front of the camera talking to you guys this way is sort of the better way to do this video rather than having the camera focused on my table and my hands and on a deck of cards. So with that being said, I'm just gonna jump right into what today's video is all about. So this month, the month of July, marks 6 months since I have started my tarot journey. So it was back in January when I kind of officially started my tarot journey, or at least when I really got serious about it. And I feel like within those 6 months, I have learned a lot about tarot. A lot of things that I had no idea about before starting this journey, before really going in deep with learning tarot and how it works. And I brought along my favorite deck with me, the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. I don't know why, kind of just to have with me in my hands while I make this video. It just doesn't feel right to make one of my videos without there being a deck somewhere in the video, if that makes sense. I don't know, just having the deck with me and holding it in my hands while I'm making this video is kind of giving me a bit of a boost, a bit more confidence to make this video. So yeah. So as you can probably tell from the title of the video, I am going to be talking about some of the things that I have learned so far about tarot within the 6 months that I have been learning it. So everything that I didn't know before that I know now, things that have surprised me about tarot, just, yeah, kind of almost like a rundown of everything that I've learned so far. So I'm gonna take it back a little bit to the very first time that I used a deck of tarot cards and kind of what my thoughts were during that time. And I talked a little bit about this in a previous video, but it kind of, I feel like I need to kind of bring it up just a little bit again for this video because my mindset has changed so much since then from where I'm at now that I just think that it's almost mind-boggling how much of a difference there is. So when I first used a deck of tarot cards, I'm not gonna lie, was a little, I don't want to say scared, I guess a little freaked out just because of like everything that people tell you, you know, growing up, all the things that you've heard, all the things that you've seen on TV, and it kind of, you know, gets carried along with you as you go about your life. So I had a little bit of an odd feeling when using the cards for the first time. And I wanted to mention that first because that is obviously probably the biggest change that I have realized I've made since then. I obviously do not have that feeling anymore when I use the cards. There is no sense of fear or uncertainty whatsoever when I use the cards now because I realize that there is no need for it. The cards are not scary. They are not here to hurt anybody. They're not here to bring upon, you know, negative energies or bad karma or whatever you want to call it. That's not what the cards are here for. But even though I felt that way back then, there was obviously still a hint of curiosity, interest there, because I eventually found my way back to tarot. And I remember pulling a card and going straight for the guidebook because I had no idea whatsoever what the card meant. And back then it was just the meaning of the card, and that was it. There was one meaning to each of the tarot cards, and you had to memorize all the meanings, or just constantly reach for the guidebook, which is what I did. And I thought the day would never come where I mastered all 78 card meanings. And don't get me wrong, that day still hasn't come. I still don't know all 78 of the card meanings by heart, but I have also come to realize that that doesn't necessarily matter when learning tarot or when reading tarot. So giving each of the cards kind of their own meaning based off of your own personal experiences or beliefs, that was something that I didn't know was something that you could do, which is kind of basically intuition. You following your intuition and whatever it's telling you. So if you're reading a card and its original meaning is not resonating with the reading that you're giving, and you're kind of getting a different message for that card, it's okay to change the meaning for that reading if that's not what's resonating with you at that moment, and you feel like it's meant, that card is there to bring upon a different message. Then it is okay to go with your gut feeling, go with your intuition. So that was another thing that I didn't know about tarot. Yes, each card has its own particular meaning, but no, that doesn't mean that in every single reading that is 100% what that card is telling you. Another thing that I didn't know was how literally everything in an image on a card has a meaning. Everything is there for a reason. Nothing is placed in the image of a tarot card for no reason at all. Everything has a meaning. So when I first started, I would take a look at the Ten of Wands and just focus on the guy in the picture moving a bunch of sticks. That's how I would look at this picture, but there's more to it than just that. There's a story behind each card. The numbers are a symbol for something. The numbers mean something. Each suit is in relation to an element. That is something that I did not know. So that's also something that you can take into consideration when reading a card. There are little things in each of the images that are symbols for something, and that's another thing. You can give symbols your own personal meanings. If something means something different to you than what it's originally supposed to be a symbol for, it is okay to change that and give it your own personal meaning. So there's definitely more to the surface. There's more than what you're just seeing in the imagery. Back when I picked up a tarot deck for the first time, I didn't even consider the number being of any importance whatsoever within the meaning of a card. It was just the image on the card, the plain image on the card that you're seeing. So the guy moving the wands, that's it. That was all I would pick up from this card, and I wouldn't try to figure it out. I would just go for the guidebook and take the easy way out. I never realized that there are many, many ways that you can interpret every single card within the deck. And then at first when I found that out, it almost seemed a bit overwhelming, because I'm like, well, now I have to not just memorize the card meanings, but look at all the symbols and know what every single symbol means. And I have to memorize the numerology for all of the cards and what the numbers mean. and astrology. How does astrology fit into all of this? Do I have to know all of that too? So like, it was overwhelming at first until I realized that it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't have to memorize every little thing. As time goes on, you will learn these things and it'll almost become like second nature to you. With every time you see one of these cards, you're gonna know to trust your intuition, which is definitely something that I am working on. Tarot doesn't have to be this very strict sort of thing where there's no room for play, you know, like it is what it is, and that's it. That's not how tarot is, and it doesn't have to be that way. Another thing that I never anticipated happening was building a strong connection to a deck or multiple decks. I didn't know that I would ever feel an attachment to a deck of cards, like the Radiant Wise, for example. I love this deck. This is my favorite go-to. I feel very connected to this deck to the point where I am very cautious about it. Like I set it on the floor just a minute ago so I could get up and go get my water, and I felt bad just putting it on the floor, and I don't know why, but I don't know, like it shouldn't be on the floor because it's very important to me, and it means a lot to me. And so yeah, never did I think that I would feel that sort of bond or that sort of connection with a deck of cards. I was blown away by the tarot community. That was something that I had no idea even existed. I had no clue that there was a whole community out there online for people who are into reading tarot. So when I found that out, I was over the moon excited to connect with people who are on all sorts of different levels, so beginners to more experienced readers, connecting with each one of them and sharing this thing that we have in common that we love to do and we feel drawn to doing. It was a really good feeling to find that out. And then also, if 10 years ago you told me that I would be taking a tarot reading course, I wouldn't believe it. I didn't even know that there were courses out there for people who wanted to read tarot. I literally thought that it was something that you kind of had to figure out on your own by just reading the guidebooks, you know, Googling things. I never thought that there would be actual courses out there, and never did I think that I would be taking one. I'm currently enrolled in the Mastering the Tarot Card Meanings through Biddy Tarot, and I am loving every moment of the course so far. And the last thing that I want to talk about is how I always just assumed that tarot was meant for fortune telling, and that was it. You had a question about the future, you can ask the tarot, and the tarot would tell you yes or no, and that's it. That's all it was used for. I never knew that it could be used for not just fortune telling, but just general like guidance throughout your everyday life. And maybe it's not even that you have like a particular yes or no question, but you kind of just want like a little bit of guidance even through that day. So you could wake up and ask the cards, what's something that I need to know today, or what's something that I need to focus more on today. So just like little things like that. I never knew that those were the types of questions that you could ask the tarot cards. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve as a tarot reader, is definitely giving people the guidance that they're looking for. So not just answering like plain like yes and no questions, but I want to help people, guide them through, you know, maybe they're going through a hard time. I would love to be able to use the tarot to help guide them through that and reach a better point in their life. And to be able to show people that tarot can even do that for them, you know, that they could, even if they wanted to grab a tarot deck and start using it every day just as general everyday guidance, that is something that they could do. So yeah, those are the few things that I did not know about tarot before actually deep diving into it and learning more about it. So I'm really happy and thankful that I have made it 6 months on my tarot journey, and I'm still in love with it, still love learning about it. So it's definitely not something that it's not like a phase I'm going through or something, because that happens a lot where I've started to learn something and then it kind of, you know, fades out and I don't really feel drawn to do it anymore. But with tarot, it's not like that. It is still very much a part of my life. It will continue to be a part of my life. I'm pretty sure me and tarot, we're in it for the long haul. And I feel like part of the reason for that is just there's always something new to learn. So sure, one day I could eventually master the meanings of all 78 cards, but even then, the learning will not be done. There will still be so much more to learn about it, and to me that is what's so appealing to using tarot and learning about it, is that it's never ending. So yeah, there you have it. Here's to another 6 months, which I don't know what I'm gonna do once I hit a year on my tarot journey. Maybe I will be at a point where I will feel confident enough in offering readings, because I don't do that. I only offer readings to friends and family at the moment. I have yet to ask like all you guys out there if you would like readings. So hopefully once I reach a year, I will be in a spot where I am comfortable and confident enough in my abilities and have finally learned to trust my intuition. And yeah, I'll be able to ask you guys if you would like readings, but that's jumping into the future. It's jumping 6 more months into the future. So let's just take it one step at a time and we will see where I end up. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe if you want to stick around and see more of my upcoming content. I would greatly appreciate it, and I shall see you next time.